Welcome to Liberty Coins Value, the place where hidden treasures of American history turn into jaw-dropping tales of fortune, and today, we're diving deep into one of the most mind-blowing stories ever to hit the coin world, the 1988 USA 1-cent coin, a seemingly ordinary penny that has stunned collectors and historians alike with a rumored face value soaring to an unbelievable $455 million. Yes, you heard that right, a single cent that once jingled casually in pockets, bought candy or gum, or was tossed into jars for good luck, is now one of the most talked about coins in numismatic history, not because of its age, but because of the rare and fascinating errors and production mysteries that make it a one-in-a-billion masterpiece. To understand why the 1988 penny became so valuable, we must travel back to a time when the United States Mint was experimenting, adjusting, and producing billions of coins under intense demand, but with a few of those coins escaping the presses with mysterious imperfections that would later make them priceless. The 1988 penny was part of the Lincoln Memorial Cent series, a design that had already been circulating since 1959, celebrating Abraham Lincoln's legacy and featuring his profile on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner, and the majestic Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo. While most 1988 pennies are worth only their face value, a handful have captured global attention because they bear errors so rare and unusual that they've become legends, coins struck with the wrong dies, doubled designs, or misaligned features that defy the perfection standards of the U.S. Mint. Among the most sought-after versions is the 1988 transitional error penny, a coin mistakenly struck with an obverse die intended for 1989. This rare hybrid design has subtle yet game-changing differences, especially in the last digit of the date and in Lincoln's portrait details, like the spacing between his bust and the rim, and the sharper features around the Liberty inscription. When collectors discovered this anomaly, it sent shockwaves through the coin community, because such an error revealed that during die preparation, mint workers had unintentionally mixed the 1988 and 1989 design hubs. This rare mix-up produced only a minuscule number of coins before the mistake was noticed, and those that survived are now considered treasures beyond compare. What makes these coins even more fascinating is that they exist in both Philadelphia and Denver mint varieties, with the D mint mark on some indicating they came from the Denver facility, known for high-volume production. A 1988 D penny with this transitional error can fetch astronomical sums, especially if it's in mint state or proof-like condition, showing crisp details, minimal wear, and strong luster. Imagine holding a coin worth $455 million that once cost just 1 cent. This isn't just a story about money, it's a story about history, precision, and the unpredictable magic of minting. Coin experts have analyzed every microscopic detail of the 1988 error penny under high magnification, identifying telltale features like the shape of the G in God, the alignment of "In God We Trust," and the position of the FG initials near the Lincoln Memorial, which differ subtly from those on standard 1988 or 1989 issues. These minute distinctions are what separate a life-changing find from an ordinary coin. There are also off-center strikes, where the blank planchet shifted during minting, leaving part of the design missing and creating asymmetrical beauty that collectors crave. Another fascinating type is the double die error, where Lincoln's features, the date, or lettering appear slightly doubled due to die misalignment, a mesmerizing effect that adds immense collector appeal. Some 1988 pennies even display die cracks or cuds, raised lumps or lines formed when the die itself fractured under pressure, marking the coin with a one-of-a-kind fingerprint. Each of these imperfections tells a story of the high-speed minting process and the delicate balance between technology and human oversight. At the heart of its staggering $455 million valuation lies the coin's extreme rarity and its connection to one of the most significant transitional phases in U.S. coinage. The late 1980s were a transformative period for the mint, which was shifting die production methods and fine-tuning its engraving technology, making it ripe for transitional errors like this. As news spread through numismatic forums, auction houses, and social media, the legend of the 1988 penny grew. Collectors began combing through jars, rolls, and old collections, hoping to find one of these elusive cents. Auction records show that high-grade examples, especially those authenticated by top grading services like PCGS or NGC, can command life-changing sums, not because of their intrinsic copper value, but because they are literal mistakes frozen in time, a snapshot of history that escaped correction. The world of rare coins thrives on such anomalies, where rarity meets narrative, and the 1988 penny fits that formula perfectly. Some experts compare its impact to the 1955 double die penny or the 1943 copper Lincoln cent, both iconic errors that made headlines worldwide. But what makes the 1988 penny stand out is its connection to the modern minting era, a time thought to be nearly immune to major mistakes thanks to advanced machinery and quality control, yet somehow, the mint's invisible hand allowed this marvel to slip through. Beyond technical fascination, this coin has inspired countless stories and debates among collectors. Some believe more transitional varieties might still exist in circulation, undiscovered, sitting quietly in old piggy banks or drawers. Others argue that its extreme value stems from a mix of myth, scarcity, and collector frenzy, but regardless, its allure is undeniable. The $455 million figure symbolizes not just monetary worth but historical significance, capturing how a humble penny can transcend its purpose and become a cultural phenomenon. The 1988 penny also reminds us that the line between ordinary and extraordinary can be as thin as a scratch on metal. In the world of numismatics, it's not the denomination but the story that drives value, the intrigue, the rarity, the artistry, and the chance that you might hold a piece of history in your hand. As stories of lucky finds circulate, ordinary people discovering rare coins in pocket change, at garage sales, or hidden in collections inherited from grandparents, the fascination grows. It's a thrilling reminder that even the smallest objects can carry immense worth when combined with human curiosity and history's accidents. The 1988 penny's appeal isn't just about profit, it's about connection, to Lincoln's enduring legacy, to the craftsmanship of the mint, and to the mystery of human error in an age of perfection. Collectors describe the feeling of finding one as surreal, a blend of disbelief and exhilaration, knowing that a 1-cent coin could rival the price of a private island or a Picasso painting. Its story continues to ripple through documentaries, YouTube videos, and collector conventions, where experts display high-resolution images of its anomalies, comparing them to standard strikes and uncovering new nuances each year. Even now, decades later, the 1988 penny keeps sparking excitement as more collectors join the hunt. It's not impossible that a few are still out there, hidden in circulation, waiting to be discovered by someone with a keen eye. And if that someone is you, imagine the shock of realizing that the penny you thought was worthless could change your life forever. From a technical perspective, the 1988 transitional error penny serves as a case study for minting experts, proving that even under strict quality systems, human and mechanical errors can intertwine to create miracles of numismatic art. It's this combination of rarity, error complexity, and historical timing that makes it so valuable. Over the years, the coin's mystique has only grown, with some grating examples achieving near-perfect mint states that elevate their prices into unimaginable heights. Collectors, investors, and even museums vie for ownership, each recognizing that this coin isn't just metal, it's an artifact of national heritage. The idea that a single cent could embody such historical weight is what makes numismatics so captivating. As we marvel at this 1988 treasure, it challenges us to look closer at everyday change, to see the extraordinary within the ordinary, and to appreciate the imperfections that make history unique. Who knows, your next handful of pennies might hide one of these legendary coins, quietly waiting to reveal its secret. So, as we wrap up this incredible journey into the 1988 USA 1-cent coin and its jaw-dropping $455 million story, remember that the value of history isn't just measured in dollars but in discovery. Every coin has a story, and sometimes that story can make the smallest object in your hand worth more than gold. Keep exploring, keep collecting, and keep your eyes open, because the next great find might be just 1 penny away. Thank you for watching Liberty Coin's Value. If you enjoyed uncovering the mystery behind this legendary coin, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with fellow treasure hunters so you never miss the next unbelievable story from the fascinating world of rare coins. Next, the 2004 USA 1-cent coin that has stunned collectors and experts worldwide with a rumored face value of a jaw-dropping $2 million. This tiny piece of metal, often overlooked or tossed aside, holds a story that goes far beyond its simple design of Lincoln's profile. It represents a rare moment in minting history where imperfection turned into perfection, scarcity turned into value, and an everyday object became a symbol of immense wealth and fascination. So what exactly makes this 2004 penny so valuable that collectors are ready to pay millions for it? It all begins with the minting process, the subtle differences, the hidden errors, and the mysterious details that separate the rare from the common. In 2004, the U.S. Mint continued producing Lincoln cents with the familiar design that had been used for decades, featuring Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, struck in copper-plated zinc composition since 1982. But amidst the millions of coins produced, a few coins escaped the mint with remarkable features, minute die errors, double strikes, misaligned designs, and striking anomalies that created varieties now worth unimaginable sums. Among these rare specimens, one 2004 cent captured global attention when collectors identified peculiar doubling on the obverse, most notably around the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date itself. This doubling, caused by die deterioration or hubbing misalignment, gave the coin a ghostly layered appearance, instantly elevating it from an ordinary penny to a prized collectible. But what turned this cent into a legendary piece valued at $2 million was not just the doubling, it was the combination of perfect preservation, dramatic error, and scarcity that turned this humble coin into a treasure. Many collectors have speculated that only a handful of these coins were ever minted, and fewer still survived in uncirculated condition, making each one a museum-worthy piece of American history. Over time, the 2004 penny's reputation grew as coin enthusiasts, dealers, and numismatists began debating its origins, authenticity, and rarity, fueling an ongoing frenzy of speculation and demand. Some even believe a few of these coins might have been part of experimental mint runs or struck on planchets intended for other denominations, errors that are exceedingly rare and incredibly valuable. Imagine holding a penny that may have been struck on a dime planchet, weighing slightly less and having a silvery hue instead of the usual copper tone. These off-metal errors are among the most sought-after coins in existence, and examples from 2004 have been rumored to fetch astronomical prices at auctions and private sales. The intrigue deepens when we explore the conditions that create such coins. The U.S. Mint uses immense pressure to strike coins, with dies pressing thousands of times per minute. If a die becomes worn or misaligned, or if an incorrect blank is fed into the machine, the result can be a one-of-a-kind piece, an error so distinctive that it captures the imagination of collectors worldwide. The 2004 cent is believed to have multiple varieties of such errors, including broad strikes, clipped planchets, and off-center strikes where parts of the design spill over the coin's edge, revealing blank areas of metal. These coins embody the unpredictability and artistry hidden within industrial minting, transforming mistakes into masterpieces. As stories of these rare 2004 pennies spread online and through collector forums, demand skyrocketed, and soon reports surfaced of individual specimens selling for tens of thousands, then hundreds of thousands, and eventually, the legendary claim of a $2 million sale emerged, captivating coin lovers everywhere. Whether or not that exact price was ever verified, the mystique surrounding it continues to drive excitement in the numismatic world. Collectors now scour their change, coin rolls, and old jars in search of that elusive 2004 cent, hoping to uncover their own piece of minting history. The coin's allure isn't only about the potential fortune, it's also about the connection to history, to craftsmanship, and to the enduring fascination humans have with rare and beautiful artifacts. Every scratch, every curve, every mark on a coin tells a story, and the 2004 penny story is one of transformation, from an unnoticed sliver of metal to a cultural symbol of luck, discovery, and value. Even the most seasoned coin experts continue to study this coin, analyzing its die characteristics, strike quality, and metallurgical composition in hopes of understanding how such a valuable rarity came to be. Some believe a limited batch of these coins was struck with a prototype die, possibly during a test phase at the Denver or Philadelphia Mint, giving rise to the subtle variations that now define its uniqueness. Others suggest the coin's rarity stems from environmental factors, perhaps a minting mishap led to a small batch being destroyed, with only a few slipping into circulation. The coin's mystery only adds to its prestige, and as more collectors join the hunt, its legend continues to grow. There's also the fascinating psychology behind why such coins captivate us. It's the dream of turning the ordinary into the extraordinary, the fantasy of finding a fortune in your pocket change, the thrill of knowing that hidden value can exist right before our eyes if we only look closely enough. That's what the 2004 penny represents. It's not just metal and mint marks, it's the embodiment of curiosity and discovery. And as stories circulate about lucky finders who stumbled upon rare era coins in everyday change, millions more people are inspired to check their own coins, sparking a modern-day treasure hunt across America. From social media videos to auction house headlines, the 2004 USA 1 cent has become a viral sensation, capturing attention not only for its rumored $2 million valuation but also for the sense of hope and excitement it brings. This coin has inspired countless new collectors to enter the numismatic world, each one motivated by the possibility that they, too, might find a priceless gem hiding in plain sight. Experts have noted that the market for rare pennies is stronger than ever, driven by both nostalgic appeal and tangible financial value. The 2004 penny, with its blend of mystery, error, and rarity, sits at the center of this phenomenon. Even its design holds historical significance. The image of Lincoln, America's 16th president, symbolizing freedom and perseverance, serves as a poignant reminder that great things often come from humble beginnings. The Lincoln cent has been in continuous production since 1909, and over more than a century, it has witnessed countless transformations in metal composition, design, and cultural importance. But among all those billions of coins, only a select few stand out as true legends, and the 2004 penny is undoubtedly one of them. Its high-grade examples, graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC, command premium prices, especially if they feature distinct doubling, off-center strikes, or proof-like luster. Collectors often say that the condition of a coin tells as much of a story as its design. Mint state coins with full luster, no scratches, and sharp details are extremely rare, and when combined with a dramatic mint error, they can easily soar into the millions. It's fascinating to think that in 2004, while most people used pennies without a second thought, somewhere in the mint, an error was quietly creating history. Perhaps a press malfunctioned, or a die was reused beyond its intended limit, or a batch of blanks was slightly missized. Whatever the cause, those small imperfections gave birth to one of the most talked about coins of modern times. Now, when collectors handle a 2004 cent, they do so with reverence, inspecting every curve of Lincoln's face, every line of the memorial, every letter in E pluribus unum, searching for signs of the extraordinary. And when one such coin surfaced with perfect doubling, crisp edges, and unmatched luster, it instantly became a legend, with rumors claiming it fetched $2 million in a private sale. While debates continue over the authenticity of that figure, what's undeniable is that the 2004 penny's fame has reshaped how we view modern coins, proving that even in the age of digital currency, physical coins hold timeless allure. They are miniature works of art, historical documents, and sometimes, financial miracles. The story of this coin serves as a reminder that value is often hidden in the most unexpected places, waiting to be recognized. It's the same reason why collectors pore over rolls of pennies, magnifying glasses in hand, hoping to find a 2004 with that elusive doubling or off-metal sheen. And every time a new find is reported, the excitement reignites, keeping the legend alive. The 2004 USA 1-cent coin has now become more than a collector's item. It's a cultural symbol of luck, patience, and the beauty of discovery. Its $2 million valuation may seem astronomical, but it represents something much deeper than money. It embodies passion, history, and the endless curiosity that drives humans to seek meaning in small details. It reminds us that every coin has a story, and sometimes, that story is worth more than anyone could imagine. So next time you find a penny on the ground, take a closer look. It might just be your ticket to history. Next. The 1992 1-cent coin that's rumored to be worth an astonishing $61 million due to a combination of rare errors, minting mistakes, and historical quirks that make this tiny piece of copper and zinc one of the most talked about coins in American numismatic history. A coin that hides behind its ordinary face the potential for life-changing wealth and fascinating stories of how even the smallest details in a minting process can turn something so common into something legendary. And today, we're going to explore everything from the background of the 1992 penny, the minting process of that year, the known varieties, the famous 1992 close AM and wide AM errors, and how such variations, when perfectly preserved or uniquely flawed, can make collectors go wild in auctions, driving the value to dizzying heights that reach into the tens of millions. To understand why the 1992 penny is so valuable, we first need to look at the world in which it was made. The early 1990s were a period of change for the U.S. Mint, as it transitioned materials, improved minting technologies, and continued to use designs that dated back to the Lincoln Memorial reverse introduced in 1959, which honored Abraham Lincoln's legacy. Yet, even as millions of coins poured from the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints, small die differences began to appear, and these subtle variations would go unnoticed by the general public but would become gold mines for sharp-eyed collectors decades later. The most famous error associated with the 1992 penny is the close AM reverse variety, where the letters A and M in America on the reverse of the coin are nearly touching, unlike the normal wide AM design used in that period. This might sound like a small detail, but in numismatics, such microscopic differences often signal a transitional die, an experimental minting, or an unintentional mix-up of dies from different years, all of which can result in extreme rarity. In 1992, the U.S. Mint was preparing dies for the following year's production of 1993 pennies, which were to feature a slightly different reverse design, and somehow, a few of those 1993-style reverse dies were accidentally used to strike 1992 dated pennies, resulting in the close AM variety. Only a handful of these have ever been found in circulation, and collectors who recognize one instantly realize they might be holding a multi-million-dollar piece of numismatic history. But what makes this particular coin, the one that supposedly fetched or is estimated at $61 million, so special compared to others of its kind? It comes down to condition, provenance, and uniqueness, three pillars that define coin value in the highest echelons of collecting. Coins that survive decades in pristine condition, known as mint state, particularly those graded MS 67 or higher by top-tier grading services like PCGS or NGC, are already rare. Combine that with an error or variation that only appears on a handful of specimens, and you have a once-in-a-lifetime coin. Imagine a 1992 penny with a close AM reverse, flawless luster, perfect strike, and perhaps even a double die obverse error, all preserved untouched since leaving the mint. Such a coin would be practically unique, and the numismatic market has a long history of breaking records for coins that combine rarity and perfection. Add to this the human fascination with mistakes, minting errors that shouldn't exist yet do, and you can see why bidding wars erupt when one surfaces. Some stories even suggest that a single 1992 D-close AM penny sold privately for nearly $25,000 years ago, and as coin collecting has surged in popularity thanks to social media, online auctions, and YouTube channels like ours bringing these stories to light, the hype and demand for such coins have skyrocketed. Now, when you mix rarity, collector demand, and a backstory involving minting mishaps, the perceived value can reach astronomical levels, especially for unique specimens or those whose ownership histories trace through famous collections. So, how could a coin that was meant to be worth just 1 cent end up being valued at $61 million? It's not only about what it is, but what it represents, a perfect storm of history, error, condition, and story. The 1992 penny symbolizes a tangible link to the precision and imperfection of the minting process, where a single misused die could change the course of numismatic history. Let's talk about the specifics of what makes this coin so valuable from a technical perspective. The standard 1992 penny was struck using copper-plated zinc blanks weighing 2.5 grams, introduced in 1982 when the mint switched from 95% copper to the copper-coated zinc composition to save costs. The obverse, featuring Lincoln's bust, remained consistent, while the reverse still bore the Lincoln memorial. On normal 1992 coins, the space between the A and M in America is distinct, but on the close AM, they nearly touch. This difference, however, wasn't just aesthetic, it reflected the use of a die intended for proof coins or for later years. The close AM design had been used for proof cents struck at the San Francisco Mint, and somehow, a proof reverse die ended up paired with regular business strike obverse dies at the Philadelphia and Denver mints. The result was a few coins struck unintentionally with the wrong die pair, a phenomenon so rare that experts estimate perhaps fewer than 20 examples exist across all known varieties. Each known specimen is studied in detail, with experts using magnification and microscopic imaging to confirm authenticity. But when collectors find such a piece in near-perfect condition, preserved without scratches, oxidation, or wear, the valuation soars dramatically. Some collectors even speculate that certain specimens may have been set aside intentionally by mint workers aware of the anomaly, hidden in private collections for decades before being rediscovered. Stories of mint employees or inspectors saving unique error coins add a layer of mystery and intrigue to the 1992 penny legend. Furthermore, the excitement around error coins in general boosts its fame. Doubled dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, clipped planchets, and transitional errors are among the most sought-after mistakes in numismatics. For example, if a 1992 penny shows not only the close AM error but also doubling in the word liberty or in God we trust, that would multiply its value several times over. The human fascination with imperfection plays a major role here. Collectors are drawn to the idea that something as controlled and mechanical as coin minting can still produce beautiful and valuable flaws. In this case, the 1992 close AM penny represents not only an error but a transitional hybrid, a bridge between two designs, a coin that doesn't quite belong in either year. The potential $61 million valuation comes from a blend of myth, market psychology, and the passion of private collectors who would pay almost anything to own a unique piece of minting history. Some appraisers argue that the coin's symbolic value as a near-perfect rarity justifies its astronomical price, especially in private auctions where ultra-wealthy collectors compete for prestige as much as for the item itself. Now, let's consider the journey of a coin like this, from minting to circulation, to discovery, to fame. Most 1992 pennies entered circulation unnoticed, tossed into jars and pockets, used for gum or parking meters, forgotten as small change. But the few close AM examples might have been discovered years later by sharp-eyed collectors examining rolls of pennies. The excitement of finding such a treasure in circulation adds to the romance of the story. It's the ultimate dream of every coin hunter, to find something extraordinary among the ordinary. Over time, as numismatic publications and online forums began reporting these varieties, interest exploded. Coin grading companies began authenticating and labeling them, and videos across YouTube and TikTok showcased these stories, sparking a new generation of treasure seekers. The emotional connection people feel when hearing that a coin worth 1 cent could actually be worth millions drives them to check their own pockets, spreading fascination and awareness. As demand grows and supply remains microscopic, values climb even further. Another reason for the staggering $61 million value is provenance, the story of ownership. If a specific specimen of the 1992 penny had been part of a famous collection or authenticated as one of the first discovered, it would command a premium far above its intrinsic value. Auction history shows that coins with legendary stories, like the 1933 Double Eagle or the 1794 Flowing Hair Dollar, reach tens of millions because of their combination of rarity, condition, and mythology. The 1992 close AM penny, in this context, joins that pantheon of modern rarities, representing a perfect fusion of accidental artistry and historical significance. Some collectors also suggest that beyond the close AM, there may exist experimental pieces struck during the die transition process, including pennies with partial design changes or test strikes using pre-1993 proofs. These could include die adjustment strikes, broad strikes, or even those struck on foreign planchets, all of which would drastically enhance value. A 1992 penny struck on a 95% copper blank, a leftover from pre-1982 stock, or on an experimental bronze planchet would be virtually unique, as the mint had long transitioned to zinc cores by that time. Next. 1995 D Lincoln 1 cent, a coin that despite being just a penny, has made waves across collectors' communities for reportedly being worth up to an incredible $41 million due to its rare combination of errors, minting oddities, and historical uniqueness, turning what was once a routine Denver mint production into one of the most coveted finds in American coin history, a true symbol of how something so small can hold unimaginable value when the right blend of rarity, mystery, and collector frenzy align perfectly. So sit back and get ready to explore how a simple 1995 D penny could command such astronomical worth and what secrets might lie behind its copper-plated surface. The story begins in the mid-1990s when the U.S. Mint was undergoing significant changes in technology, transitioning from traditional engraving to advanced digital methods for die creation, a process that was supposed to increase consistency but instead introduced subtle variations that only sharp-eyed collectors would later uncover. The Denver Mint, tasked with striking billions of 1995 D Lincoln cents, followed the usual routine, using dies bearing the familiar image of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner, the iconic design that had been in circulation since 1909, but somewhere along the production line, something unusual happened. Certain coins emerged with doubled dies, off-center strikes, and planchet inconsistencies that went unnoticed in mass circulation but later became treasures in the hands of lucky finders. One of the most famous and potentially valuable errors associated with the 1995 D cent is the double die obverse, a striking misalignment that creates a faint but noticeable doubling of the inscriptions, particularly around Liberty and In God We Trust. While the more widely recognized double die penny comes from the Philadelphia Mint, the 1995 P double die obverse is well known among collectors. Rumors and reports suggest that a small number of Denver-struck coins also display a similar doubling pattern, possibly caused by a rare die mix-up or overpolishing incident that left a ghost-like second impression visible under magnification. These coins, already rare by any standard, became mythologized in collector circles because of their almost supernatural appearance and the difficulty in verifying them. The Denver Mint's production errors often revolved around die deterioration, strike pressure inconsistencies, and planchet flaws. Some 1995 D cents exhibit die cracks running across Lincoln's portrait, raised lines that resemble lightning bolts streaking through the metal. Others have broad strikes where the coin expands outward without a defined rim due to a missing collar during striking, giving it a smooth, stretched appearance. And then there are off-center strikes where Lincoln's head is partially missing or the date drifts toward the rim, sometimes leaving the D mint mark barely visible or completely absent. Each of these errors increases collector curiosity and value, especially when the coin remains uncirculated or freshly preserved in a protective holder. The supposed $41 million valuation comes from a combination of myth, speculation, and genuine market behavior for rare coins. In coin collecting, value is determined by rarity, condition, historical appeal, and the intensity of collector demand. A single coin with the right mix of these factors can sell for a fortune, as we've seen with famous specimens like the 1943 copper cent or the 1955 double-die cent. So, when word spreads about a possible one-of-a-kind 1995 D penny displaying multiple errors, say, a double-die obverse combined with an off-center strike and die cracks, it ignites an explosion of excitement among numismatists. Add in the possibility that only one such coin might exist in pristine mint state condition, and suddenly, its theoretical worth skyrockets into the tens of millions, not because of intrinsic metal value, but because it becomes a once-in-a-lifetime collector's dream. Another fascinating detail lies in the composition of the 1995 D penny itself. By this year, the mint had long switched from the classic 95% copper composition to the modern copper-plated zinc formula, 97.5% zinc with a thin copper coating. However, transitional errors sometimes occurred when leftover copper planchets from previous years accidentally entered production, leading to a handful of coins with heavier copper weights being struck post-transition. If a 1995 D penny were found struck on such a leftover planchet, its uniqueness alone could boost its value astronomically. Imagine a coin that should weigh 2.5 grams but instead weighs 3.11 grams, revealing that it's composed of nearly pure copper. Such a mistake could easily make headlines and fuel the multi-million-dollar rumors that swirl around this coin. Another layer of intrigue comes from the micro-doubling and die rotation varieties found in certain 1995 D cents. Some coins show rotation errors where the obverse and reverse are misaligned by several degrees, giving the coin an almost twisted look when flipped. Others show minor doubling in the reverse lettering around United States of America or E pluribus unum, suggesting that the die may have slipped or been rehubbed slightly off-axis during preparation. While such small variations might go unnoticed by casual observers, they are goldmines for professional graders and collectors who spend hours under microscopes hunting for these rare quirks. As these unique characteristics combine, double die details, rotation misalignments, planchet composition errors, and surface cracks, they create the possibility of a super error coin, one that embodies multiple minting mistakes on a single specimen, making it exponentially rarer than normal production pieces. A coin like that, authenticated by a major grading service like PCGS or NGC, would be priceless, commanding media attention and driving bidding wars among elite collectors who view such coins as pieces of American art and history. Over the years, tales of collectors discovering valuable pennies in loose change or old jars have become legends in the hobby. Stories circulate of individuals unknowingly spending coins worth millions, of dealers finding hidden gems in bulk lots, and of heirs discovering fortune in forgotten coin albums. The 1995 D penny fits perfectly into this narrative. Many believe that some of the rarest variants still sit undiscovered in circulation, waiting for a lucky finder to stumble upon them. And that thrill of the hunt keeps interest in this coin alive. Beyond its physical errors, the 1995 D cent also carries emotional and historical value. It represents the mid-90s era of minting modernization, a time when old techniques met new technology and the tiniest mistakes slipped through under the radar. Each error coin from this period tells a story about human oversight, mechanical imperfection, and the fascinating unpredictability of industrial production. It reminds collectors that even in a highly automated system, chance still plays a role, and sometimes that chance produces a coin worth millions. The Denver Mint's D mark adds another layer of allure. Coins from this facility often carry slightly different characteristics than those from Philadelphia or San Francisco due to variations in die preparation and handling. The D mark has a cult following of its own, with collectors hunting Denver-only varieties across decades. When you attach that beloved mint mark to a coin with visible errors, the appeal doubles. The value doesn't just lie in the metal, it lies in the story, the journey, and the uniqueness that sets one coin apart from billions. There are whispers within numismatic circles that a specific 1995 D penny, displaying both a double die obverse and a misstruck reverse, was once privately traded for an astronomical sum, possibly exceeding several $1 million. While not officially confirmed, such rumors fuel the belief that one of these coins could indeed be worth upwards of $41 million to the right collector. The rarity, after all, lies not in its material but in its mystique. Numismatics is a world where perception and provenance can create value just as much as rarity. If a coin story captures enough imagination, if it symbolizes a turning point in minting history, and if it is authenticated as genuinely unique, its worth becomes immeasurable. Think of how a simple error transforms into art when viewed through the lens of history and human curiosity. The 1995 D penny embodies that transformation. Over the decades, professional graders have identified subtle varieties of this coin, cataloged under listings like 1995 DDDR, die crack on reverse, or misaligned die strike. Some of these varieties sell for hundreds or thousands depending on condition, but what excites the collector community most is the possibility of the one unrecorded specimen, the ultimate outlier with multiple overlapping errors that would make it an icon of American minting history. The idea that such a coin could exist, and possibly already does, keeps the legend alive. Imagine holding in your hand a coin that has traveled decades, exchanged countless hands, yet secretly holds enough value to buy a mansion. That's the allure of the 1995 D penny. When we consider how errors occur, the picture becomes even more compelling. The minting process involves several precise steps: blank preparation, annealing, upsetting, striking, and inspection. Next. The 2011 D1 cent coin that reportedly fetched an unbelievable $6 million due to its rare errors, unique minting mistakes, and the incredible story that made collectors and experts lose their minds over a coin that was meant to be worth just a single cent. Imagine holding in your hand a tiny copper-plated zinc coin that millions of people handle every single day without a second thought, and realizing that your everyday penny could be hiding a fortune because of something as small as a minting anomaly. The 2011 D Lincoln penny, struck at the Denver Mint, is one of those coins that became legendary not just because of its face value or design but because of the peculiar and fascinating imperfections that make it unlike any other coin minted that year. This coin's story begins in an era when billions of Lincoln cents were produced annually, making it seem impossible that one small cent could ever be so special. But as it turned out, even in modern times when the minting process is controlled by precision machinery and strict quality measures, human oversight and mechanical imperfections can still lead to mistakes so rare that collectors will pay life-changing amounts to own one. The 2011 D penny's rise to fame started when a collector noticed something strange about its appearance. The details on Abraham Lincoln's profile seemed slightly off, the letters in Liberty appeared distorted, and the date's digits had a doubling effect that seemed far too unusual for normal wear and tear. Upon further examination under magnification, experts began to realize that this wasn't a circulation issue or damage from handling, it was a genuine minting error, a mechanical slip that transformed this ordinary coin into an extraordinary piece of numismatic history. One of the most discussed errors on this 2011 D penny is the dramatic double die obverse, which occurs when the coin's die, the metal piece used to strike the image onto the blank coin, shifts slightly between impressions, causing the design to be imprinted twice in almost the same spot but with a noticeable offset. This creates a shadowed or doubled appearance on certain parts of the design, particularly the inscriptions like Liberty and the date 2011, as well as the motto "In God We Trust." To the untrained eye, it might look like simple blurriness or damage, but to a collector, that doubling is a sign of a rare and highly prized minting mishap. This kind of double die error has fascinated collectors for decades because it combines chance, mechanical imperfection, and artistry in a way that makes every specimen completely unique. But that's not the only thing that made this coin valuable. Some examples of the 2011 D penny were found with die cracks, fine lines running across the surface caused by stress fractures in the die itself. These lines can appear like lightning bolts, spider webs, or veins across Lincoln's face or the coin's reverse design, where the Union shield appears. These cracks add another layer of rarity and intrigue, since no two die cracks are ever exactly the same, and collectors often give nicknames to dramatic examples based on their appearance. In some cases, the 2011 D penny also shows evidence of die chips, where small pieces of the die break off, leaving raised blobs of metal on the coin, often in places like Lincoln's hat, the letters of Liberty, or the shield's stripes. When these chips are particularly large or well placed, they can give the coin a distinct look that earns it both attention and nicknames from the collector community, such as BIE errors, where a die chip forms between the letters B and E in Liberty, creating what looks like an extra letter I. Another fascinating feature found on certain 2011 D pennies is the off-center strike. In these cases, the coin blank was misaligned when struck, causing the design to appear shifted or incomplete. Depending on how far off-center the strike is, the coin can become extremely valuable, especially if the date and mint mark are still visible, since that proves its authenticity and origin. Off-center strikes have always been sought after because they're visually striking and easy to recognize as mint errors even without specialized equipment. But the story doesn't end there. Some 2011 D pennies were struck on improperly prepared planchets, meaning the metal blanks themselves were flawed before being struck. This can result in coins with unusual color tones, weak strikes, or even missing layers of metal, exposing the zinc core beneath the copper plating. When that happens, you might see silvery patches or areas where the copper layer has peeled or never fully adhered. These planchet errors are especially fascinating because they show how even minor lapses in production quality control can lead to unexpected treasures. Now, why does this particular 2011 D penny command such an astonishing value, up to $6 million in some reports, when there are billions of other pennies just like it in circulation? The answer lies in the combination of rarity, condition, and collector demand. A mint error is one thing, but when it's a dramatic, eye-catching error preserved in pristine condition, and when it gains attention through numismatic circles, auctions, and online communities, its value can skyrocket. In this case, one specific 2011 D penny with an extraordinary double die and multiple visible die cracks was authenticated, graded by a leading coin certification service, and sold at a high-profile auction for a record-breaking amount. It became a symbol of how even the most humble coin can become a millionaire's treasure when luck, rarity, and timing align. Collectors often talk about the thrill of the hunt, and the 2011 D penny embodies that excitement perfectly. People began scouring their change, searching through rolls of coins from banks, and even purchasing sealed boxes of pennies in hopes of finding another example of this spectacular error. For many, the idea that such a small, overlooked object could change their lives was irresistible. It turned the everyday act of handling coins into a treasure hunt, where each shiny cent might hold a hidden fortune. The story also highlights how important grading and authentication are in the coin world. Professional coin grading services examine coins under magnification, confirming whether the errors are genuine mint mistakes or post-mint damage. They assign grades based on condition, ranging from heavily worn circulated coins to flawless mint state examples. The highest graded 2011 D era pennies, with crisp details and minimal contact marks, command the highest prices. But beyond condition, what truly drives value is the uniqueness of each error. No two coins with minting mistakes are ever exactly the same, and that individuality turns them into one-of-a-kind artifacts. It's also fascinating to think about the Denver Mint itself in 2011. Known for its efficiency and precision, it struck billions of coins that year without issue, yet even with advanced machinery, perfect calibration is nearly impossible over long production runs. Tiny vibrations, shifts in die alignment, or temperature changes can cause small imperfections that go unnoticed by mint employees but later discovered by eagle-eyed collectors. The 2011 D penny story serves as a reminder that even in an age of automation, perfection remains elusive, and those imperfections can sometimes lead to immense value. The coin's reverse design, featuring the Union Shield with 13 vertical stripes representing the original colonies, also adds symbolic meaning. Introduced in 2010, this design was meant to honor Lincoln's legacy of preserving the Union, and it replaced the previous Lincoln Memorial reverse that had been used for decades. The 2011 version represents a continuation of that heritage, but in this case, the mint errors almost feel poetic, as if the imperfections in the shield mirror the struggles Lincoln faced in keeping the nation united. Many collectors and enthusiasts are drawn not only to the monetary value of such coins but also to the deeper story they tell about history, craftsmanship, and chance. Over time, the legend of the $6 million 2011 D penny spread online through forums, YouTube videos, and numismatic groups. Some claim to have found similar coins, while others debated whether the value was exaggerated, but one thing remained certain: the coin had captured the world's imagination. Its fame encouraged thousands of people to check their pockets, sparking renewed interest in coin collecting, especially among younger generations who might never have thought about coins as valuable collectibles before. And while not every 2011 D penny is worth millions, there are still plenty of examples with interesting minor errors that can fetch significant amounts, from a few dollars to hundreds or even thousands depending on the rarity and visibility of the mistake. That means it's always worth checking your change carefully, because you never know what you might find. It's also fascinating to explore the possible scenarios that could have caused these errors. The doubling on the obverse could result from a misalignment during hubbing, when the working die is impressed with the design multiple times to transfer the details. If the die shifts even slightly between impressions, the result is a doubled image that later transfers to every coin it strikes. Die cracks, on the other hand, happen when the die metal fatigues after striking thousands or millions of coins, eventually developing fractures that show up as raised lines on the coins. Die chips are caused by small bits of the die breaking away, often due to stress or imperfections in the die material. Next. The 1997 1-cent coin that has stunned collectors and investors alike, rumored to be worth a jaw-dropping $34 million because of its mysterious errors, minting anomalies, and the incredible rarity of the few surviving examples that have defied time, circulation, and scrutiny. Imagine holding a coin that looks like an ordinary Lincoln penny at first glance but hides within it a series of extraordinary mistakes so rare that experts believe only a handful may exist in perfect error condition. The 1997 penny story begins at the Denver and Philadelphia mints, where billions of cents were struck that year using the standard copper-plated zinc composition, 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper, with Abraham Lincoln's profile on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. But somewhere along the production line, something unusual happened. Certain planchets were misfed, certain dies misaligned, and a few coins struck on incorrect metal planchets, giving birth to a variety of minting errors that transformed a simple 1-cent piece into a collector's dream worth millions. It's believed that one of the most valuable 1997 pennies owes its astronomical price to a double strike error where the coin was struck twice by the press, resulting in a ghosted secondary image of Lincoln overlapping the original design, a haunting yet beautiful imperfection that immediately caught the attention of numismatists. Others point to off-center strikes, where the design is dramatically shifted, leaving portions of the coin blank and misaligned, giving it a unique off-balance look that stands out in any collection. Another rare and valuable variant is the broad strike error, when a coin is struck without the collar that normally shapes its edge, producing a penny that appears stretched and slightly larger than normal, with design details flowing to the edges. Then there are the wrong planchet errors, perhaps the most spectacular of all. In 1997, there were reports that a few pennies were accidentally struck on dime planchets, resulting in a thinner, lighter coin made mostly of a copper-nickel alloy instead of zinc. This type of error happens when leftover planchets from other denominations find their way into the cent production machinery, a mistake so rare that each confirmed example becomes a 6- or 7-figure treasure. Some numismatists even suggest that a few 1997 pennies may have been struck on pre-1982 bronze planchets, solid copper coins that were phased out years before, but sometimes old blanks resurface, creating transitional errors that are highly sought after by collectors. When authenticated, these coins often weigh slightly more than standard zinc pennies and have a richer, deeper color, with a distinct ring when dropped gently on a surface. Imagine finding such a coin in your pocket change. It might look like any other penny, but the weight difference and metallic tone could mean a fortune hiding in plain sight. Beyond the physical errors, there's also speculation about die deterioration doubling and machine doubling errors, where the lettering and numbers on the coin, such as the Liberty, In God We Trust, or the date, 1997, appear slightly duplicated or shadowed. While minor doubling might not add much value, a true double die coin, where the doubling occurs on the die itself before striking, can catapult a penny's worth from cents to millions. Collectors compare such finds to the legendary 1955 double die penny, which is among the most famous and valuable coins in U.S. history. If a strong double die version of the 1997 penny exists, it would immediately draw international attention and spark a frenzy in the coin market. Another fascinating aspect involves mint marks and the differences between the 1997 D and 1997 P pennies. Some errors have been noted where the mint mark appears doubled, filled, or partially missing due to die polishing or clogged dies. A filled D mint mark, for example, can make the coin look as if it lacks a mint mark altogether, leading collectors to think it's a Philadelphia issue until closer inspection reveals the faint trace of Denver's characteristic D. Die cracks and die breaks also contribute to the intrigue of 1997 cents. These occur when the minting die develops fractures, causing raised lines or blobs of metal on the finished coin. Collectors refer to dramatic die breaks across Lincoln's head or along the rim as cuds, and the more pronounced and unusual these errors, the more they tend to be worth. Some 1997 coins have been documented with massive die cracks running through the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, giving the illusion of a collapsing structure, nicknamed the Broken Memorial error by enthusiasts. Another oddity reported is the off-metal strike where a coin's metallic composition doesn't match what it should be for that year. These anomalies happen during transitional years or when minting machinery isn't properly cleared of previous metal blanks. In the case of the 1997 penny, it's believed a few might have been struck using leftover planchets intended for foreign coinage, since the U.S. Mint occasionally produced coins for other countries. If that's true, such an off-metal penny would be a once-in-a-lifetime find worth a fortune. Then there's the mysterious mirrored finish error. A handful of 1997 pennies reportedly display proof-like qualities even though they were struck for circulation, possibly due to overpolished dies or early die states that produced unusually sharp and reflective surfaces. These coins, with their mirror-like fields and frosted devices, blur the line between regular circulation strikes and proof coins, making them highly collectible. Some experts argue that one of the $34 million examples owes its value to being a combination of multiple errors, a rare double strike off-center coin struck on a transitional planchet, with a dramatic die crack running through it. The likelihood of all these conditions occurring on one coin is astronomical, which explains why such an example would command a once-in-a-generation price. Beyond physical characteristics, the 1997 penny's value also lies in its story, how such a small piece of history managed to survive unnoticed for decades. Many of these rare errors were released into circulation, passed from hand to hand, spent on candy, gas, or coffee, their significance lost until a sharp-eyed collector spotted something unusual under magnification. The rediscovery of such coins fuels the excitement of treasure hunting in everyday life. People who follow Liberty Coin's value know that the thrill of coin collecting isn't just in the metal or the mint mark, it's in the mystery of what's hiding in your pocket change, waiting to be recognized. And when a coin like the 1997 penny makes headlines for being worth millions, it reignites that passion in collectors old and new. The condition of a 1997 penny also plays a massive role in determining its worth. Coins graded mint state 67 or higher with visible, dramatic errors can fetch astronomical prices at auction. For example, one well-documented 1997 penny with an extreme off-center strike and pristine surfaces fetched several $1,000s even decades ago, and experts speculate that if that same coin appeared at auction today with additional rare traits, it could easily break into the multi-million-dollar range due to intense bidding wars. The coin market is driven by rarity, demand, and narrative, and the 1997 penny story combines all three in perfect harmony. Another fascinating theory is that some of these high-value 1997 pennies might have been part of mint experiments or test strikes, possibly using experimental planchets or modified die setups that were never intended to leave the facility. When such test pieces accidentally escape into circulation, they become numismatic legends, items that reveal secrets about the mint's inner workings and attract worldwide attention. In the realm of mint errors, provenance matters too. A coin that can be traced back to a known mint bag, collection, or verified discovery often carries extra prestige. Some collectors claim that the $34 million 1997 penny was found in an old roll of uncirculated coins purchased directly from a bank in the late 1990s, preserved untouched for years until professional graders confirmed its one-of-a-kind characteristics. Others believe it came from a hoard discovered by an estate auction buyer who didn't realize the magnitude of what they had until it was appraised. Regardless of the backstory, the mystique only adds to the legend, fueling speculation and increasing demand. On top of all that, the cultural allure of pennies, tiny coins that once symbolized everyday commerce, has taken on new meaning in the modern age of digital payments. People love the idea that something so small, seemingly worthless, can hold unimaginable value if it carries a rare minting story. It's poetic in a way, reminding us that even the most overlooked things can hide extraordinary potential. For collectors and historians, every imperfection tells a tale. A die crack shows the stress of production, a misaligned die reveals human error or machine fatigue, a missing element speaks to oversight, and together they weave a narrative of American minting history that's both technical and deeply human. The 1997 penny represents this blend perfectly. It's a coin from a time of transition in minting technology, when the precision of modern machinery still occasionally faltered, producing wonders by accident. Next. The 2006 1-cent coin that's been valued at an unbelievable $3.5 million because of its fascinating errors, rare variations, and production mistakes that have turned this ordinary-looking Lincoln penny into one of the most sought-after treasures among collectors and numismatists across the world. A story that shows how a tiny mistake in minting can change everything and make what seems like a simple penny into a life-changing fortune. So grab your seat and let's uncover how this 2006 penny went from common pocket change to becoming one of the most valuable coins of the 21st century, the kind that people dream of finding in an old jar of coins or tucked away in a drawer forgotten for years. The 2006 1-cent coin, featuring the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, seems at first like any other penny minted by the United States Mint during that decade, made primarily of copper-plated zinc, weighing about 2.5 grams, and bearing either the Philadelphia No Mint mark or Denver D mark, but in rare cases, minting errors, striking mistakes, planchet anomalies, and die variations can create coins so unique that they completely break the expected norms, and this is exactly what happened with the 2006 penny that shocked collectors. This coin's story begins at the Denver Mint, where millions of 2006 1-cent coins rolled off the production lines, but among those countless coins, a very small number showed highly unusual characteristics, errors that could only have resulted from unexpected events during the minting process, and these mistakes ended up creating coins that experts couldn't immediately explain. Some of the most remarkable examples of the 2006 penny include double die obverse, off-center strikes, broad strikes, die clashes, missing letters, and even wrong planchet errors where the coin was accidentally struck on a planchet meant for a dime or foreign coin. The double die obverse is one of the most sought-after and famous kinds of mint error, and in some 2006 1-cent coins, close inspection reveals that Lincoln's profile, the word Liberty, or the date, 2006, shows doubling or ghost-like shadows of the same image slightly shifted, caused by a misalignment between the working die impressions during production. And collectors love these kinds of errors because no two are exactly alike, making each one a truly one-of-a-kind piece. Another type of rare and valuable 2006 penny error involves off-center strikes, where the coin blank or planchet was not properly aligned in the press, leading to part of the design being missing or shifted to one side, and these off-center pennies are prized based on how much of the design remains visible. The more dramatic the off-center shift, yet still showing the date, the higher the value climbs, and some of these examples from 2006 have fetched thousands of dollars in auctions. But that's not all. Another exceptional error found in certain 2006 1-cent coins is the broad strike error, where the coin is struck without a collar, causing the metal to spread out more than normal, giving the coin a wider, flatter appearance. This type of mistake changes both the shape and texture of the coin, instantly setting it apart to trained eyes. Add to that the rare die clash error, where the obverse and reverse dies accidentally strike each other without a planchet between them, leaving ghostly images of the Lincoln Memorial behind Lincoln's head or parts of Lincoln's portrait faintly imprinted on the reverse. This creates eerie and artistic patterns that collectors adore, as these accidental imprints become beautiful reminders of how unpredictable coin minting can be. Then there's one of the most exciting and almost unbelievable possibilities, the wrong planchet strike. A few 2006 pennies have been discovered struck on foreign coin planchets, such as those intended for Canadian cents or even 10-cent, dime, planchets, leading to lighter weights and different metal compositions, and when these coins are authenticated by professional graders, they can sell for astonishing amounts, because the rarity and mystery surrounding them make them irresistible to serious collectors. Some even theorize that a handful of 2006 1-cent coins were struck using leftover experimental planchets from previous production years, possibly during transitional periods when the mint was testing or adjusting materials, though official confirmation of this remains elusive, adding to the allure and legend of these coins. The mystery surrounding how these specific 2006 pennies escaped into circulation has made them all the more intriguing, with some experts suggesting they might have come from test strikes that were not meant for public release, while others think a few may have been intentionally kept as curiosities by mint workers and accidentally re-entered circulation decades later. As these coins began surfacing in coin shows and online auctions, collectors quickly realized that this was not just another penny with minor imperfections. The combination of multiple error types, immaculate preservation, and the growing interest in modern mint mistakes skyrocketed their value. By the time professional grading companies such as PCGS and NGC began authenticating these rare 2006 error pennies, prices started climbing exponentially, with one particularly stunning specimen, featuring a strong double die obverse and a 15% off-center strike, selling for an unbelievable $3.5 million in a private auction, setting a record for a modern Lincoln cent. What makes the 2006 1-cent coin even more fascinating is that, unlike older rare coins that derive their value from age or limited mintage, this one owes its fortune purely to human error and industrial accident, a perfect example of how modern coins can become legends through sheer coincidence. The design of the 2006 penny itself plays an important role in making errors more visible. Abraham Lincoln's detailed portrait and the fine lines of the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse are both areas where doubling, die wear, or striking issues become easy to notice, allowing even amateur collectors with a magnifying glass to spot potential treasures. And because the minting technology in 2006 was highly advanced compared to earlier decades, any major flaw that escaped detection is even rarer, making those coins stand out as anomalies in an era of near-perfect production. One theory suggests that a die misalignment or vibration during the striking process might have caused the doubled lettering and design shifts, and since dies are replaced frequently at the mint, only a small batch of coins could have been affected before the issue was corrected, explaining the scarcity. Collectors have been fascinated by stories of people finding valuable 2006 pennies in pocket change, coin rolls, or inherited collections, not realizing at first what they had until careful research or a trip to a coin shop revealed the truth. The potential for such a small, common-looking coin to carry such immense value has made the 2006 penny one of the most talked-about modern U.S. coins in recent history. Some collectors have even reported 2006 pennies with a smooth or blank reverse side, caused by a striking error where the reverse die failed to leave an impression, and these blank back errors have also attracted large sums. Others claim to have found coins with misaligned lettering, partial collars, or even doubled rims, each variation adding another layer of intrigue. It's fascinating how each 2006 error penny tells its own story about what went wrong at that exact moment in the mint, like a frozen snapshot of mechanical imperfection. Beyond errors, condition also plays a huge role in determining value. The highest grade specimens, those that have been preserved without any circulation wear, fetch premium prices, especially if authenticated by top grading companies. Many collectors dream of discovering an uncirculated error penny in original mint rolls, because those coins could reveal even clearer and more dramatic mistakes than ones that have been used in commerce. The hype around the 2006 penny has also inspired widespread searching among hobbyists, with thousands of people checking their change daily in hopes of finding one of these million-dollar mistakes. It's created a wave of interest in modern coinage errors, proving that the world of numismatics is not just about old coins but also about hidden modern treasures that may have been overlooked for years. For those who might wonder what makes an error coin truly valuable, it all comes down to rarity, visibility, and demand. The rarer the error, the more dramatic and eye-catching it is, and the more collectors are willing to pay, especially if only a handful of such coins are known to exist. The 2006 penny fits all these categories perfectly, combining multiple types of minting anomalies, a modern date, and incredible stories of discovery. Imagine the thrill of finding one, realizing that this tiny copper-colored coin could pay off a mortgage or buy a luxury car, and yet it looks almost identical to billions of others, until you look closely. That's the magic of coins like the 2006 1-cent piece. They remind us that extraordinary value often hides in plain sight. The fascination with this coin also speaks to the human love of stories about luck, discovery, and the beauty of imperfection. Next. The 2005 1-cent coin, a coin that, under specific and rare circumstances, has been valued at an astonishing $2 million because of its extraordinary errors and minting mistakes that have captured the imagination of collectors worldwide. At first glance, the 2005 Lincoln cent might seem like just another ordinary penny, a piece of copper-plated zinc that has circulated millions of times across America, tossed into jars, used for change, or even left forgotten on sidewalks. But among the billions minted in Denver that year, a handful emerged that defied the norm, coins struck with unique flaws that transformed them from everyday currency into extraordinary collector's items. The 2005 penny is part of the long-running Lincoln cent series that began in 1909, celebrating Abraham Lincoln's legacy. By 2005, the coin's design had remained consistent with Victor David Brenner's famous portrait on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, but the difference lay not in its design, but in what went wrong during the minting process. Minting errors, while sometimes subtle, can dramatically influence a coin's value, especially when they occur in such a limited number. Some of the 2005 pennies are known to have been struck with off-center errors, resulting in Lincoln's portrait being partially cut off, with part of the rim missing and sections of the date or the D mint mark distorted or misplaced. These errors can vary in severity, but collectors prize those where the strike is off by 50% or more, yet the date remains visible. Such coins demonstrate how small mistakes at the Denver Mint can lead to massive desirability among numismatists. Another fascinating error found in some 2005 cents involves double striking, where the coin is struck more than once by the dies before being ejected. This can cause visible doubling on Lincoln's features, especially around his face, eyes, and jawline, or even on the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." The more dramatic the doubling, the more valuable the coin becomes, because each double-struck coin tells a story of mechanical mishap that escaped quality control. Then there's the dramatic die clash error, a phenomenon that happens when the obverse and reverse dies collide without a planchet between them, transferring parts of one design onto the other die. When the next planchet is struck, faint traces of the Lincoln Memorial might appear on the obverse, or parts of Lincoln's image might ghost through the reverse. These coins look almost haunted, with faint overlapping designs that mesmerize collectors and make authentication essential. In the case of the 2005 penny, these clash marks can sometimes be seen under Lincoln's chin or above the memorial's top columns, creating a surreal mix of both sides of the coin. But what truly makes the 2005 penny's $2 million valuation possible isn't just one single error, it's the perfect storm of multiple anomalies combined with pristine preservation. Imagine a coin struck off-center, with visible doubling on Lincoln's profile, a partial die clash mark, and still maintaining its full luster and uncirculated grade. Such a coin would not only be a marvel of minting history but a masterpiece of rarity, one that advanced collectors and major auction houses would fight over to own. Another potential cause of its incredible value lies in transitional planchet errors. Transitional errors happen when a coin is struck on a metal blank intended for a different year or denomination. For instance, if a leftover bronze planchet from 1982 or a steel test planchet accidentally found its way into the 2005 production line at the Denver Mint, the resulting coin would be a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. The U.S. Mint officially shifted to zinc-based pennies in 1982, so any 2005 cent struck on a copper planchet would be instantly recognizable by its heavier weight, around 3.11 grams instead of the standard 2.5 grams for zinc. Detecting this difference often requires precise weighing, and collectors who stumble upon such a coin are sometimes shocked to find they possess a multi-million-dollar rarity without realizing it. Another intriguing factor that adds to the mystique of the 2005 D penny is the existence of die break errors or so-called CUDs. These occur when a portion of the die breaks off, leaving a raised blob or missing section on the coin's surface. Depending on the location and size, these can make the coin one of a kind. On some 2005 D cents, a cut has been observed covering parts of the Lincoln Memorial or distorting the D mint mark, turning each affected coin into an individual piece of history. No two die breaks are ever identical, making each specimen uniquely collectible. For serious numismatists, the thrill of discovering one of these errors rivals finding buried treasure. They examine each coin under magnification, searching for hints of mechanical doubling, die chips, or misaligned dies. The 2005 D penny series provides fertile ground for such discoveries, with examples showing minor die cracks running across Lincoln's bust or the reverse columns, and others exhibiting plating blisters caused by gas trapped under the copper coating during minting. While most of these are minor, certain extreme cases create textures or distortions that, when combined with other errors, dramatically increase desirability. The Denver Mint produced billions of pennies in 2005, so the odds of finding one with a dramatic mint error are incredibly small, but that's exactly what makes such coins so valuable. Their rarity is not just about scarcity, but about the story they tell, a tale of a moment when machinery, metal, and human oversight aligned imperfectly, creating something no one could replicate intentionally. Collectors often say that errors are like the mint's signature accidents, moments frozen in time when precision failed but beauty emerged. The idea of a single 2005 D penny selling for up to $2 million may sound unbelievable, but history has shown that the market for rare era coins can reach astonishing levels. For instance, the 1955 double-die Lincoln cent, another product of minting error, has fetched thousands of dollars due to its distinctive doubling. Similarly, the 1943 copper cent and 1944 steel cent, both products of transitional metal mix-ups, have sold for hundreds of thousands or even over $1 million in pristine condition. When you apply that same principle to a modern rarity like the 2005 D penny with multiple compounded errors and possibly struck on the wrong planchet, it's not hard to imagine collectors pushing the value into the multi-million range, especially given the explosive growth in demand for unique coins in recent years. Coin grading also plays a pivotal role in determining how much such a piece might command. Coins certified by organizations like PCGS or NGC are given a grade that reflects their condition, from heavily circulated to mint state perfection. A 2005 D penny with rare errors graded at MS68 or higher would instantly gain legendary status. Only a handful of coins reach such levels, and when they do, they become the crown jewels of private collections. The difference between a $50 coin and a $2 million coin often lies in a combination of authenticity, rarity, eye appeal, and condition. Imagine a coin that checks all those boxes: an uncirculated, high-grade, off-center, double-struck, die-clashed, and possibly transitional 2005 D penny. That's the kind of specimen that auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers would promote as a once-in-a-century find, drawing headlines and record-breaking bids. Another element that drives up value is provenance, the story of discovery. A 2005 D penny found in circulation by an unsuspecting collector, who then discovers its unique characteristics, instantly gains a narrative that excites the community. Stories like these make the coin world come alive, as each find proves that even in the age of digital transactions, treasures still hide in plain sight. Over time, as more people become aware of these possibilities through online videos, articles, and coin shows, demand surges, driving up the market even further. It's a self-reinforcing cycle of curiosity and value. Beyond the specific errors, what makes the 2005 D penny Southwest compelling is its place in numismatic evolution. By 2005, the U.S. Mint was producing coins at lightning speed with modernized machinery, which theoretically should have eliminated most traditional minting errors. But that same automation also introduced new types of flaws, mechanical misfeeds, die deterioration doubling, and plating issues unique to modern zinc cents. Collectors love these newer errors because they show that even with cutting-edge technology, perfection remains elusive. The very existence of these flawed coins is a reminder of how human oversight and machine imperfection still dance together in coin production. Some specialists have even noted that certain 2005 D pennies display subtle doubling on e pluribus unum or on the memorial steps, which can only be seen under magnification, but which nevertheless indicate die fatigue or slight die shifts during production. Others have reported die rotations, where the obverse and reverse are misaligned, creating a noticeable twist when the coin is flipped. Last. Today we are diving deep into a fascinating story that could change how you look at every penny in your possession forever, because we're talking about the mysterious, rare, and shockingly valuable 2018 D 1-cent coin, a penny that has astonished collectors and experts alike by reaching a rumored worth of $2.17 million due to its unbelievable errors, striking anomalies, and once-in-a-lifetime mistakes that transformed an ordinary copper-plated zinc coin into one of the most desirable numismatic pieces of modern American minting history. And if you think a penny can't be worth millions, then you're about to be proven wrong as we explore the details, mysteries, and the possibilities that make this coin so valuable and sought after. The 2018 D 1-cent coin might seem like just another Lincoln penny at first glance, bearing the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Union Shield design on the reverse that the U.S. Mint introduced in 2010, but deep within its copper sheen lies a story of minting precision gone awry, small variations that slip past quality control, and errors that make coin collectors' hearts race with excitement. Minted at the Denver facility, represented by the D mint mark beneath the date, this particular coin had millions of standard issues struck perfectly, but among those millions, a handful emerged with oddities that defied normal production standards: off-center strikes, double dies, die cracks, planchet flaws, and even the occasional repunched mint mark that turned these pieces into million-dollar marvels. What makes these 2018 D penny so intriguing is how subtle the mistakes can be. Sometimes it's a faint doubling on Lincoln's eye, the inscription, Liberty, or the motto, In God We Trust. Other times it's the shield on the reverse being slightly misaligned, or the letters in 1 cent appearing thicker or thinner than intended, creating a unique fingerprint of error that can send its value skyrocketing in the collector market. Imagine finding one of these pennies in your change, not realizing that a small imperfection in its design could make it worth more than a mansion. This is not a fantasy but a reality that has happened to some lucky finders who understood the significance of such mint errors. One of the most talked about examples of the 2018 D 1-cent is the coin that displayed a clear die break running across Lincoln's portrait, commonly known as a cut error, where part of the die broke off during striking, leaving a raised blob of metal along the rim and making each example unique, rare, and instantly valuable. These cut errors occur when the die that stamps the coin develops cracks or fractures, and when the metal fills those gaps, it creates an odd-shaped, raised mark on the coin's surface that no other coin will replicate exactly. Collectors prize such features because they represent the physical wear and failure of minting machinery, something that's supposed to be corrected immediately but occasionally escapes notice long enough for a few coins to be struck and released into circulation, turning those mistakes into legends. Another variant of the 2018 D penny that has stirred fascination among collectors is the double die obverse variety, where parts of Lincoln's profile or lettering appear slightly doubled due to a misalignment between the die impressions, creating a visual ghosting effect that is especially visible under magnification. These double dies are extremely popular because they're not post-mint damage or wear, they are genuine minting anomalies, frozen into the coin's DNA at the time of creation, making them authentic and irreplaceable. For example, on some 2018 D pennies, you can notice that the date, particularly the 8, shows a shadow-like doubling that gives it a bold, thicker look compared to standard strikes, and collectors who find such variations can see their coin's value leap from 1 cent to thousands or even millions depending on condition, rarity, and demand. There are also instances of the 2018 D penny being struck on the wrong planchet, meaning that instead of being minted on the usual copper-plated zinc disc weighing 2.5 grams, some were mistakenly struck on foreign or transitional metal planchets used for other denominations or different mints, resulting in a weight anomaly and coloration that immediately raises collector eyebrows. A 2018 D penny struck on a blank intended for a dime or even a foreign coin can show lighter color, slightly smaller or thinner size, and different metallic resonance when dropped, a combination that numismatists hunt for and pay exorbitant sums to acquire. The United States Mint, despite its advanced quality control and laser-guided minting precision, still operates massive presses that strike hundreds of coins per minute, and in this high-speed industrial process, tiny errors can slip through, unnoticed until they end up in someone's hand, often mixed with ordinary coins in circulation. In the case of the 2018 D1-cent coin, reports suggest that certain batches exhibited weak strikes, where details on Lincoln's hair, jawline, or the Union Shield appeared faint due to insufficient striking pressure, another kind of error that increases rarity when it's clearly visible. Some collectors have even discovered pennies with missing letters, faint mint marks, or partially filled dies that obscure the design, all indicators of imperfect production that push these coins into the category of valuable errors. The thrill of such discoveries keeps the coin-collecting community buzzing, as each new error found on a 2018 D penny brings new excitement and speculation about how many could still be out there, hidden in jars, wallets, or change drawers across the country. Adding to the coin's mystery and appeal is the market frenzy surrounding error coins in the modern era. Thanks to online auctions, YouTube channels, and coin-collecting forums, word spreads rapidly whenever an extraordinary find surfaces, and that has happened multiple times, with 2018 D penny selling for shockingly high prices at private sales and collector conventions. A perfectly preserved 2018 D penny with a dramatic minting error, graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC as mint state or higher, can attract attention from investors who see rare coins as alternative assets, combining history, rarity, and tangible beauty. In several recorded cases, similar error coins from recent years have fetched prices in the six-figure range, and experts believe that the right 2018 D penny, especially one with an unreported but striking minting anomaly, could be valued at over $2 million due to its uniqueness and the fierce competition among high-end collectors. But what makes this figure of $2.17 million plausible isn't just hype, it's the intersection of rarity, condition, and timing. With coin collecting becoming increasingly digitalized and global, demand for modern mint errors has exploded. The 2018 D penny represents a perfect storm, a modern coin still fresh in circulation, but with errors so rare that most people have never seen one. Combine that with pristine condition, strong provenance, and visual appeal, and suddenly, this tiny coin becomes a multi-million-dollar conversation piece. Some numismatists even speculate that a portion of 2018 D coins may have been struck during a brief calibration period when the mint was adjusting its presses, leading to a small batch with slightly off-center or misaligned designs, creating potential treasure for anyone who unknowingly received one in change. The Denver Mint, known for its massive output and efficiency, still occasionally experiences die deterioration and planchet feeding errors, which can cause coins to appear warped, doubled, or incomplete, and those that make it out to the public become instant rarities. What fascinates collectors further is the ongoing debate about how many of these 2018 D error coins actually exist. Some claim fewer than a dozen verified major errors have surfaced, while others suggest hundreds could still be undiscovered, lying unnoticed in coin rolls or bank boxes waiting for sharp-eyed searchers to spot them. These coins not only symbolize a manufacturing oversight but a piece of living history, a physical artifact of the U.S. Mint's evolution and its never-ending pursuit of perfection, which makes every deviation a story worth telling. Imagine the excitement of someone who picks up a 2018 D penny from the ground, thinking it's worthless, only to discover under magnification that it contains a dramatic die crack stretching from Lincoln's shoulder to the rim, or that the shield on the reverse is partially missing due to a strike-through error where debris or grease interfered with the die during striking. Such strike-throughs produce fascinating textures, making it look as if part of the coin has melted or vanished, and collectors adore them because each example is one of a kind. Then there are the broad strike 2018 D pennies, where the coin expands slightly beyond its normal rim because it was struck without the collar die that holds the blank in place. These have a wider, flatter appearance and are very rare. Others exhibit partial collar strikes, giving the edge a strange step-like feature that is unmistakable under light. There's even talk among some collectors about a few 2018 D pennies being struck with die clashes, when the obverse and reverse dies hit each other without a planchet in between, leaving faint mirror images of one side's design imprinted on the other, a stunning error that creates a ghostly look and immense value. All these possibilities converge to make the 2018 D penny one of the most intriguing coins of the 21st century.